Good morning. Welcome to the Greg Belfrage After Show. It's great to be with you again. I had a wonderful vacation, but boy, really coming back to work with a bang, given the weekend events with the assassination attempt against Donald Trump, and it was really incredible. Just some things that I really didn't share on the air this morning. Uh, the story while I was on vacation remained Democrats pushing the president to withdraw from the race. And there were a lot of Democrats who were putting a lot of heat on President Joe Biden to withdraw from the race. And so much so that was the story for week after week. I mean, what's going into the third week that you had Democrats out there saying Joe Biden, and I watched him last Thursday night. Did you happen to watch this? I think it was Thursday, wasn't it? When he addressed the country, and I thought maybe this is it. Maybe the president's going to step down. Maybe this is it. And so I tuned in and watched, and I wish I could get that time back. Seriously, it was just more of the same. And I knew pretty quickly in. I turned to Katie. We were watching it together, and I said, "Yeah, he's not going to withdraw. I mean, this is not the kind of tone that we would be hearing from Joe Biden if he was going to withdraw from the race, if he was going to step down, somebody else hand over the baton to Democrats to choose." And I think that says a lot about Joe Biden. I mean, seriously, his absolute unwillingness for all of the conversation that Joe Biden gives this country about democracy and allowing democracy to work and all of this, his absolute refusal to withdraw from the race, despite enormous pressure from not only Democrat donors, but from the legacy media. It was just incredible pressure. Um, I have thought more than once, who is it that we're constantly hearing is the fascist who's out there and not respond? Uh, and I just look at this as it's Joe Biden. This guy will not give up power. He absolutely does not want to give up power. He's going to continue to run again, and he's got excuse after excuse. And I watched that news conference. It was about an hour long. Seriously, I think last Thursday night. And I watched that, and I thought, "You, It was the same bumbling kind of. Um, he would start to answer a question, and it wouldn't take very long. He was off track, and he was going somewhere else, and it was just absolutely incredible." And I thought, really, this is it. This guy just refuses. He's not going to listen to anybody. So for all of the conversation about what a fascist Donald Trump is, and that's what we hear from the legacy media all the time, Democrats and so on, continue even since the assassination attempt on Trump, they're still out there with that stuff. It's going to be, I think, quite telling today. I'll be watching very closely to see what happens today and the reaction from people today, what they're going to be saying, what their reactions are going to be to this attempt on Donald Trump. I don't know if you seen, many of you are not Morning Joe viewers, Joe Scarborough on MSNBC. That show was not on the air this morning. The MSNBC filled in, but they had some other news. They just filled it with news on MSNBC this morning. So at the Morning Joe show, I mean, that to me is just so telling. They didn't know how to respond. What are we going to do? How do we respond to this? There's been an assassination attempt on Trump. How do we respond to that? I mean, why wouldn't you be on the air to cover one of the biggest news events, certainly, what, in the last 50 years? I mean, seriously, why wouldn't you be on the air to talk about it? They need a game plan. And there are questions. I didn't talk about this too much on the show today because there's a lot of significant news that's out there. I wanted to make sure that I shared with you during the radio program today. but Democrats are in a tailspin. And the Hill's got a story this morning. This is from Hill.com. For Democrats, the phrase of the day was proceed with caution. A day at now, again, keep in mind this is a day old at this point. A day after a gunman attempted to assassinate Donald Trump at a campaign rally, um, and after the Democratic Party continued to debate whether or not President Biden should withdraw from the presidential election, the president's allies and other operatives were left quietly wondering how the latest plot twist in the campaign would ultimately play out. In other words, then they get into it. The talk about Joe Biden being out of the race is definitely all but dead. I'm going to, while we're doing this, there was I think it was at Town Hall this morning. They had a story. Oh, also, and the big story since the show, just as I was literally just as I was getting off the air today, came the ruling from Judge Eileen Cannon. This is the federal documents case against Donald Trump. And Eileen Cannon dismissed the case. So this is a massive, massive win for Donald Trump. So her decision is based on the unlawful appointment and funding of special counsel Jack Smith, she said. She also found Smith's use of a permanent indefinite appropriation also violates the appointments clause. So this is a big smackdown coming from Judge Eileen Cannon. This is a big story. And again, I was literally, as I was in our last commercial stop set of the show, I happened to glance up. We've got a Fox News monitor that I have on throughout the program. So if there's breaking news or developments, then I can at least catch it and then I can look for more information. But when I'm at the end of the show, it's like, well, that's it. That game over for today. Uh, but Eileen Cannon smacking that down, and you have got to wonder. I didn't, again, this did not get a lot of conversation today during the show, but you've got to wonder what will now, remember, Donald Trump is scheduled to be sentenced yet this month in the Manhattan case, which has already found him guilty. So, what is the reaction then from the judge and so going to be in the wake of this assassination attempt on Donald Trump? Um, will it be impacted? I don't know, but this is a big rule today. So, Judge Cannon now dismissing this case, um, and the I don't want to get too much into this with you here this morning. We'll get into it more detailed this morning or coming up tomorrow morning. But that was a big story. Um, the one I was looking for at townhall.com. Um, there's a lot of conversation about Donald Trump's assassin, the assassin, um, and what he did and how he was on that building. Again, it's just beyond me. 200 yards away from Trump on top of that building, approached by local law enforcement. And the guy pointed the rifle at the local law enforcement officer. So he started back down the steps, started back down the ladder. And it was within moments of that that he fired the shots at Trump. So there are just a lot of questions that have got to be answered this morning. Um, there was, forgive me, the particular story that was after me. And now, Democrats. Matt Vespa had a piece this morning. This is it. That Democrats are now resigned to another Donald Trump presidency. That this was an absolute game changer. This assassination attempt, Donald Trump is an absolute game changer. And so I want to see where this is coming from. Axios. what we're hearing, a second senior House Democrat told Axios the Trump shooting has taken some of the heat off because it would have been bad form to make any statements against President Biden. So Democrats are feeling like, yeah, this is over. Another Biden skeptical Democrat told Axios, I don't think that's the focus right now. The story is just completely dropped off the radar. Now, again, as I said, after we heard about Democrats trying to pressure Joe Biden to get out of the, not be the candidate, to withdraw from the race, him refusing to do so, and then you have this assassination of Trump, poof, that story is gone. It is absolutely gone. And you could seriously, you could not find it anywhere this morning because again, the breaking news was what's going on with Donald Trump, what happened at the Secret Service, and whether or not there are some problems at the Secret Service or not. Congress will be taking a look at that, as they well should. I'm going to withhold judgment. We'll wait and see what they find, but I think it's incredibly telling that this guy was 200 yards away from Donald Trump, and being able, the fact that they did not sweep that rooftop is, I think that those of us who have no law enforcement training, we're going, what the hell? What is that all about? How is it that you could be on the line of sight and had Donald Trump not turned his head? There was a screen off to Donald Trump's right, big screen off to his right. And so he turned his head and lifted his head just a little bit in order to see the screen, and that's when the guy fired. If Trump had still been looking at the audience, you know, just absolutely incredible. So I saw there were a couple of cartoons. There was, I came across these at town hall. They had them. One of Trump on the podium and the hands of two large hands, the hands of God coming down on either side of Trump and shielding him. And really, Trump, feeling the hand of God. And he talked about that over the weekend, um, that he felt the hand of God. I mean, just incredible. He said the likelihood that that guy would have missed would be like 1/10 of 1%. He just happened to turn his head and look up, and boom. Otherwise, he would have caught it right in the side of the head. I mean, just absolutely incredible. So I believe that's the hand of God. I mean, Trump feels that way, and I was feeling that way on Saturday. I thought, how in the world is it that he only gets away with a wound to his ear? I mean, that is just absolutely incredible. And so, will that be a game changer with the election? It certainly is going to be a game changer with Donald Trump's speech at the National Republican Convention. And Trump said, this is the thing about the tenacity of Donald Trump that just amazes me to no end. Trump wanted to finish his speech. He was shot, and he wants to go out and finish his speech. But of course, they're not going to let him do that. There's some really great reporting at the Washington Examiner. If you want some more detailed reporting about Trump, they Washington Examiner actually interviewed Trump, as did the New York Post. They both had really insightful stories of Donald Trump afterwards. So if you want more information, I would go there. Washington Examiner and the New York Post both had great stories on this, but just absolutely incredible. And once again, what do we see? We see this incredible tenacity of Donald Trump. He gets shot in the ear. He wants to go finish his speech. Only Trump would do that. I mean, nobody else. The guy is just, and I have told you before, I've called him a machine because he is. He's just like this, boom, 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 boom. I'm going. I'm a machine. Uh, that's Trump. The guy is just absolutely unstoppable. But You may feel differently, but I gotta tell you, I feel that was the hand of God. That was the hand of God was shielding Donald Trump. And there was another cartoon also that I saw at townhall.com. Forgive me, I wanted to give the author credit because the same author, 2 great cartoons. The other one is really what is destined to become an iconic photo. The one with Donald Trump with his, blood on his face and his ear, and smirched across his or streaked across his face, and his fist in the air as he was telling the crowd, "Fight." Um, that's gonna be an absolutely iconic image. So this cartoonist has that image of Trump, Secret Service, and his fist in the air, and underneath his shirt is a Superman shirt underneath. And it's like, yeah, I mean, he's no man of steel, but honestly, I feel that was the hand of God that intervened. And I mean, how do you explain that? He just happens to look off to the right and up at the very moment that that guy shoots. Absolutely incredible. Otherwise, it would have been a much, much different conversation, I think, that you and I would have had on the air this morning had Donald Trump been assassinated. And I'm just so grateful. It's, and I think we would do well to remember the law enforcement or the former firefighter, rather, the former firefighter, 50-year-old firefighter who lost his life. He was killed. And his daughter had posted initially on social media talking about her father that he had pushed his family down to the ground and then laid on top of them, trying to protect them from the shooter's bullets. And he lost his life. There are two others that were also injured. They're thankfully in stable condition. We had four people in total who were injured, and one of them killed. Uh, and Donald Trump taking time out even Saturday to thank law enforcement and thank Secret Service, for the protection and to offer his condolences to the family of this uh, retired firefighter. So just just incredible. So one who was killed, others who were injured, including Trump. And I think, I certainly have been trying to remember them in my prayers and this country in our prayers in the wake of all this, watching that unfold. But the the other thing, the fundraiser for the firefighter and his family had there was a goal, and this was the Trump campaign that started the fundraiser, and their goal was $1 million, and it rose to 2 million, nearly $2 million. It was just short of $2 million within a 24-hour period. Wow! So the outpouring of Americans following this event um, has just been absolutely phenomenal. So those are the stories that I wanted to share with you here this morning. Again, we watching the decision today by Judge Eileen Cannon, the federal case against Donald Trump. This is the Jack Smith case against Donald Trump, which has been dismissed, and which is great news. We'll be talking about coming up tomorrow on the Great Show, and I hope you can join me there. Wanted I wanted to share a couple of your comments. Yes, I did enjoy my vacation, and to all of you who are asking, what I really enjoyed was sleeping in. When I work, I get up. My first alarm goes off at 2:45 a.m. Pretty early to get up. There wasn't a night that I didn't sleep less than 8 hours while I was on vacation, and I slept between 8 and 10 hours. I had several 10-hour nights during vacation. It's like, man, I just feeling great. I'm a little bit wired as I was doing the show this morning. So thank you so much. I had a great vacation. I didn't do much. Took care of some personal things, but other than that, um, Carrie asked, I wonder how many other news items will come up in the next 24 hours. Yeah, again, I'm really distraught with things that I'm seeing coming from the legacy media. I'm angry about it. I mean, I am just, uh, and even some of the Democrats trying to almost phrasing their reaction in such a way as if Donald Trump is to blame for an assassination attempt on himself. How do you arrive at, I mean, you have to do incredible mental gymnastics to arrive at the conclusion that it's Donald Trump's fault that he um, there was an assassination attempt on his life. It's his rhetoric. Oh, it's his rhetoric. If that were true, then wouldn't the assassination attempt be on Joe Biden? I mean, that's a question I ask. If that was true, that's what you would expect the outcome to be, right? The radical right, the radical right winger. I mean, this just does not make sense. As much as the left tries to do more and more of this thing, it's just baffling, pretty outrageous. Yeah, I agree with David. Trump's guardian angel is working overtime, no question. Um, Terry asked, will the RNC be televised? I would imagine it would. I will find out where though, Terry, and I'll make sure that I share that answer for those of you who follow me on Facebook, especially. And I'll share it in the after show coming up tomorrow. I've been so buried in all of this Trump news that really the assassination attempt that really there was not much else. In fact, when I looked at trending stories this morning, that it was almost it, with the exception of the death of David Simmons and uh, and a few other celebrity deaths. Not Ruth, and there was forgive me, her name was just she was battling cancer, um, and she passed away. Shannon Doherty died at the age of 54, I think. She succumbed to cancer. Those were the only stories that were trending other than Trump this morning. So that news has just been, you know, everybody is, and understandably, rightly so. I mean, that's what America is talking about, as it should. When you got an assassin, same thing would be true if it were Joe Biden. If there were an assassination attempt, I'm not wishing for one. I'm not hoping for one. I want to be crystal clear. Um, but if there were an assassination attempt against any major political figure, you would expect that to be the big story, and it was. That was virtually in pieces of that story, but that was virtually the only story trending this morning. So thanks so much for joining me. Always feel free to drop me an email. greg.belfridge@kelo.com is my email address. And please like this video, dislike this video, either one, but your likes are very, very much appreciated and make a difference. And if you got like-minded friends, I'm not trying to shove news down anybody's throat who's not, but if you got like-minded friends and folks you think would appreciate what we're doing, let them know about it. I would very, very much appreciate it. And we'll leave it there. Good grief, I've almost gone a half hour again. So I've got a lot to catch up from a vacation. My email stack is like, it's going to take me the rest of the day to go through my email. So I'm going to start, grab a little bit of tea here and dive into that. Thank you for letting me join you. I hope to see you again tomorrow. So long until then, and may God bless. I forget how to shut this thing off. Ah, right there in front of me. It can be taught.